If you think you still need a $5,000 custom-built rifle to survive a hunt in Alaska, you are operating on outdated information. Alaska does not grade on a curve. Saltwater spray on Kodiak Island, sub-zero freezing rain, and wet alder thickets will instantly warp a traditional wood stock and rust-blued steel. Worse, a single mechanical feeding failure while facing a coastal brown bear can have catastrophic consequences. Today, aerospace-grade titanium, autoclave-cured carbon fiber, and modern machining have democratized extreme durability. We are applying brutal environmental, metallurgical, and ballistic standards to the leading factory platforms to find out which ones actually survive the last frontier. We are counting down the top 8 hunting rifle brands of 2026, exposing the real-world trade-offs of modern actions, and revealing the single platform that officially claims the #1 spot for almost every Alaskan hunt. Let's start the countdown at number 8, where extreme accuracy meets the entry-level budget. Number 8 on our countdown is Savage Arms. Savage has built a legendary reputation across the hunting community for delivering incredible out-of-the-box accuracy at a fraction of the cost of its competitors. In 2026, that reputation is anchored by modern evolutions of the venerable Savage 110 platform, spanning from the straight pull impulse to lightweight mountain platforms like the 110 Ultralight Elite, as well as workhorse models like the 110 Trail Hunter and Core Hunter at an accessible street price around $799. The core mechanical brilliance of the Savage 110 lies in its floating bolt head design. Unlike the rigid monolithic bolts found in traditional turn-bolt rifles, a Savage bolt head has a minute amount of self-adjusting float during lockup. When you close the bolt on a chambered cartridge, the floating head aligns microscopically under pressure, ensuring that both locking lugs bear completely and evenly against the receiver recesses. This ingenious piece of production engineering provides the kind of uniform lockup that traditionally required expensive custom gunsmithing and hand lapping. That mechanical alignment is paired with the iconic AccuTrigger, an easily adjustable system that provides a clean, crisp trigger break while utilizing an integrated release blade to mechanically prevent an accidental discharge if the rifle is dropped in rough terrain. Add in the AccuFit stock system, which lets hunters quickly swap out comb risers and length of pull inserts, and you get a custom rifle feel straight from the factory floor. However, when you bring a Savage rifle into the unforgiving landscape of Alaska, its engineering trade-offs quickly become apparent. While Savage rifles routinely punch tight groups at the target range, the action itself lacks the refined, fluid cycling speed that professional guides demand in high-stress scenarios. The bolt throw can feel gritty and loose when worked aggressively from awkward shooting positions, and the push-feed extractor system does not offer the same absolute mechanical bite as a traditional claw extractor. Furthermore, standard Savage hunting configurations tend to carry extra bulk and forward-heavy balance unless you step up to their higher-priced carbon fiber variants. When you are traversing miles of spongy tundra or fighting through thick coastal brush, carrying excess weight will wear down your endurance before you ever spot your animal. For hunters on a strict budget who want proven accuracy for caribou or moose at predictable distances, Savage delivers undeniable value. But when it comes to the fluid handling and smooth cycling required during a sudden, close-range encounter with an apex predator, Savage sits at number 8 on our list. Stay tuned, because our #1 platform later in this countdown completely flips the script on factory actions, delivering custom shop smoothness and sub-MOA precision without the custom shop price tag. Securing the number 7 position is Christensen Arms. When it comes to surviving the vertical shale and punishing elevations of the Brooks Range, every ounce you carry feels like a pound by the end of the day. Christensen Arms recognized this reality early on, becoming a true pioneer in bringing aerospace-grade carbon fiber technology to mass-production hunting rifles. Their 2026 flagship, the Ridgeline FFT, which stands for Flash Forged Technology, uses advanced material science to strip away every ounce of unnecessary weight without compromising structural rigidity. The defining feature of the Ridgeline FFT is its carbon fiber-wrapped barrel. Christensen takes a match-grade stainless steel inner liner and wraps it in carbon fiber under extreme tension. The result is a barrel that provides the stiffness and surface area of a heavy target profile bull barrel, but weighs a fraction of what solid steel would. For a Dall sheep hunter climbing 3,000 feet of elevation in freezing rain, that feather-light characteristic is a massive tactical advantage. You get a highly maneuverable platform anchored in a space-age carbon fiber stock, making the entire system incredibly lively in the hand. On the positive side, these materials are practically immune to Alaska's wet, corrosive environments. The stainless steel action and carbon components will not warp or rust when battered by the salt spray of the Bering Sea coast. The action itself is a push-feed design, heavily inspired by the Remington 700 footprint. This provides an excellent ecosystem for aftermarket triggers and optics mounts, but it still relies on a spring-loaded extractor rather than a massive non-rotating claw. While modern push feeds are incredibly reliable, some veteran guides still prefer the absolute mechanical insurance of a controlled round feed system when tracking wounded bears in thick brush. However, this intense focus on weight reduction brings us to a harsh mechanical reality of hunting in Alaska. We have reached the point of diminishing returns. When you chamber an ultralight rifle in a mandatory Alaskan cartridge like the 338 Winchester Magnum or even the 300 Winchester Magnum, the physics of recoil become absolutely brutal. A rifle weighing under 6 pounds simply does not have the mass to absorb that kinetic energy. That aggressive rearward velocity transfers directly to the shooter's shoulder, making fast follow-up shots incredibly difficult, and frequently causing severe shooter flinch, which destroys accuracy under pressure. Beyond the punishing recoil, carbon fiber-wrapped barrels introduce complex thermodynamic variables. While carbon fiber is excellent at dissipating ambient heat, firing a rapid string of 3 or 4 consecutive shots, which is exactly what you might need to do to stop a charging coastal brown bear, can lead to sudden, localized heat buildup inside the thin steel liner. This rapid thermal expansion can cause the barrel harmonics to change, resulting in unpredictable point-of-impact shifts when you can least afford them. When you combine these thermodynamic quirks with a premium price tag and occasionally inconsistent factory tolerance controls, the Ridgeline FFT becomes a highly specialized mountain tool rather than an all-around Alaskan workhorse. It is a fantastic option for high alpine sheep hunting, but for a true, universal survival rifle, Christensen Arms lands at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Browning. Browning has firmly cemented its position in the premium factory rifle market, and in 2026, they completely evolved their flagship line with the introduction of the X-Bolt 2 platform. Models like the X-Bolt 2 Speed HD represent a massive leap forward for hunters looking for a weather-immune, highly accurate system right off the shelf. The most defining architectural feature of the X-Bolt 2 platform is its 3-lug bolt design. Most traditional hunting rifles use a standard 2-lug bolt, which requires a full 90-degree bolt lift to unlock the action. Browning's 3-lug geometry shortens that lift to just 60 degrees. In the field, that 30-degree difference provides a massive practical advantage. First, it keeps the bolt handle well clear of the large ocular bells found on modern high-magnification scopes. Second, a shorter bolt throw translates directly to faster cycle times. When you are trying to anchor a massive bull moose before it disappears into a dense alder thicket, the ability to chamber a follow-up shot in a fraction of a second is absolutely critical. That fast action is paired with Browning's proprietary feather trigger system. It is a fully adjustable cassette trigger that effectively eliminates mechanical creep, providing a glass-like break between 3 and 5 pounds. When you combine that trigger with their new VeriTech adjustable stock system and a heavily applied Cerakote finish, you get a rifle that easily survives freezing rain and promises sub-MOA precision right out of the box. But despite these clear advancements, the X-Bolt 2 remains a push-feed design, and it utilizes a proprietary rotary polymer magazine. From a ballistic standpoint, that rotary magazine is fantastic for protecting the soft lead tips of your expensive hunting ammunition from deforming while you hike. However, this is where the brutal reality of the Alaskan interior comes into play. When the temperature drops well below zero and you are forced to wear heavily insulated winter gloves, manipulating, loading, or clearing a flush-fit polymer rotary magazine becomes incredibly clumsy. You lose the tactile feedback required to perform a fast, reliable reload if a dangerous game encounter goes sideways. The push-feed action itself is highly reliable, but the interface between the hunter, the magazine, and the frozen environment creates a dangerous friction point. The Browning X-Bolt 2 is a phenomenal Western hunting weapon. But because its magazine system becomes a severe ergonomic liability in extreme cold weather conditions, it stops at number 6 on our ultimate Alaskan survival list. Taking the number 5 spot is Weatherby. Historically, the Weatherby name was synonymous with blistering high-velocity Magnum cartridges, high-gloss finishes, and their iconic Monte Carlo woodstocks. But by 2026, the company has masterfully split its engineering philosophy to serve two entirely distinct Alaskan survival archetypes: the budget-conscious utilitarian and the extreme alpine specialist. On the utilitarian side, the Weatherby Vanguard represents one of the greatest values in the modern firearms industry. Manufactured in Japan by Howa, the Vanguard utilizes a modified Mauser-style action featuring a forged, flat-bottom receiver with a massive, integral recoil lug. That flat-bottom design is critical. Unlike round receivers that can twist or shift inside the stock under the heavy recoil of Alaskan Magnum cartridges, the Vanguard's flat bottom and integral lug lock the action dead center. This translates to absolute zero retention and rugged durability. It is incredibly strong, remarkably accurate, and has become a beloved backup weapon and heavy-duty truck gun for professional Alaskan guides. On the opposite end of the spectrum is the absolute pinnacle of their mountain lineup, the Weatherby Mark V Backcountry Guide TI. This is where Weatherby flexes its aerospace engineering. By utilizing an aerospace-grade titanium action and pairing it with a Peak 44 carbon fiber stock, they have engineered a Magnum-class rifle that weighs under 5.6 pounds. The heart of this platform is the legendary Mark V action. In its Magnum configuration, it features a massive 9-lug bolt. Because there are 9 locking lugs arranged in 3 rows, the bolt lift is reduced to an incredibly short 54 degrees. That is the shortest bolt throw on this list, allowing for lightning-fast cycling when every fraction of a second counts. The Mark V action is also inherently bomb-proof. It is famous for its 3 rings of steel design. The bolt head completely encloses the base of the cartridge, and then that bolt head recesses fully inside the barrel extension, which is threaded into the receiver. If a cartridge case ever ruptures under maximum pressure, this design directs the escaping high-pressure gases away from the shooter's face, offering an unparalleled level of mechanical safety. However, Weatherby lands at number 5 because of the extreme polarization of these two platforms. The Vanguard is rugged but heavy, while the titanium Mark V is incredibly light but carries a staggering price tag of nearly $3,800. Furthermore, the Guide TI suffers from the same physics problem as the Christensen Arms platform. Firing a 338 Winchester Magnum or a 300 Weatherby Magnum out of a 5.5-pound rifle creates a brutal, violent recoil impulse that makes fast, accurate follow-up shots on a charging grizzly almost impossible for the average shooter. Before we move into our top 4, I want to hear from the veteran guides and hunters in the comments. When you are tracking a wounded animal through thick brush, do you prioritize a lightweight rifle to save your endurance, or a heavier rifle to absorb the recoil and guarantee a faster follow-up shot? Breaking into the top 4 is Bergara. The meteoric rise of Bergara in the hunting rifle market is a masterclass in optimizing an open-source architecture. This Spanish manufacturer built its reputation by producing some of the most accurate precision barrels in Europe before deciding to build their own actions based entirely on the legendary footprint of the Remington 700. By utilizing that iconic footprint, Bergara rifles immediately benefit from the largest third-party aftermarket ecosystem in the firearms world. If you want to change the stock, swap out the trigger, or mount a specific optical rail, you have infinite modularity. But unlike standard factory actions, Bergara machines their components with superior metallurgical tolerances and modern features. The crown jewel of their 2026 lineup for Alaskan survival is the premier Cima Pro. Retailing around $3,099, it takes the Remington 700 concept and executes it perfectly. The Cima Pro features a Cure carbon fiber wrapped barrel and an autoclave cured carbon fiber stock, bringing the total weight of the rifle down to around 5.5 to 5.75 pounds. But unlike the ultralight platforms we discussed earlier, Bergara managed to strike the perfect balance between weight reduction and the structural rigidity required to stabilize heavy Alaskan magnums, like the .300 Winchester Magnum or the 7mm PRC. The action itself features an enlarged ejection port to ensure that long, heavy Magnum cases clear the receiver flawlessly. It also utilizes a floating bolt head design to guarantee perfect lockup. And critically, these rifles often come standard with exceptional TriggerTech trigger units, which provide a phenomenally crisp break that is highly resistant to freezing in sub-zero conditions. So why does Bergara stop at number 4? It comes down to the architecture of the action. The premier Cima Pro and their standard heavier B14 line are still push-feed clones of the Remington 700. As we established earlier, a push-feed action relies on a spring-loaded extractor to snap over the rim of the cartridge case after it has been pushed into the chamber. Under normal hunting conditions for moose or caribou, this system is exceptionally reliable. However, when you are hunting in dense Alaskan alder thickets, where the distance between you and a defensive grizzly bear might be measured in feet rather than yards, professional guides demand absolute mechanical certainty. If you short-stroke the bolt in a panic, a push-feed action can occasionally fail to eject the spent case before trying to feed a new one, causing a catastrophic jam. Bergara provides world-class precision and a phenomenal barrel, but because it lacks the mechanical life insurance of a true controlled round feed action, it must yield to the top 3 platforms on our list. Entering the top 3, we move into the absolute demand for mechanical infallibility in bear country. Taking the number 3 spot is the Ruger M77 Hawkeye, specifically the Alaskan and guide gun variants. To understand why this rifle sits so high on the list, you have to understand the controlled round feed, or CRF, architecture. Popularized by the legendary Mauser 98, a CRF action features a massive, non-rotating claw extractor. The moment a cartridge is stripped from the magazine, that claw grips the rim of the cartridge and holds it firmly against the bolt face throughout the entire cycling process. Even if you are knocked off balance, hanging upside down, or rapidly backpedaling away from a charging brown bear, that cartridge cannot fall out of the action. Furthermore, the Ruger Hawkeye utilizes a fixed blade ejector. This means the harder and faster you pull the bolt backward in a panic, the further the empty case is thrown clear of the rifle. This mechanical relationship completely prevents a stovepipe jam under adrenaline-fueled manipulations. The Hawkeye is essentially a modernized cast steel vault door. It refuses to yield to any disruption in feeding. Alaskans heavily favor the Hawkeye because its rugged simplicity, paired with a stainless steel barrel and a tactile Hogue overmolded stock, makes it virtually immune to the corrosive salt fog of the Kodiak archipelago. However, this ruggedness comes with a physical cost. The Ruger Hawkeye is a heavy platform, frequently weighing well over 7 pounds before you ever mount a scope. Because the CRF system utilizes that massive claw and a heavy spring, cycling the action requires definitive, aggressive physical force. It is not a smooth two-finger action. It is an unstoppable mechanical tank, securing its place at number 3. Taking the runner-up position at number 2 is Winchester, a brand that remains the spiritual and mechanical benchmark for controlled round feed enthusiasts. While Winchester produces a massive catalog of firearms, their elite status in Alaska rests on their modern, post-2008 production of the legendary Model 70. Often referred to as the rifleman's rifle, Winchester's modern CNC machining tolerances have combined the infallible extraction of their famous pre-1964 actions with modern weather resistance, perfectly executed in the Model 70 Extreme Weather stainless steel variant. While Winchester shares the massive claw extractor and fixed blade ejector safety of Ruger, they execute the rest of the rifle with a slightly higher degree of technical refinement. Their Alaskan-ready models feature fluted stainless steel barrels to reduce weight while maintaining rigidity, paired with cast stainless receivers. Winchester seats these actions in layered Bell & Carlson composite stocks that utilize a full-length aluminum bedding block. That internal bedding block is critical for Alaska, as it ensures the rifle holds absolute zero no matter how severely the temperature fluctuates between the freezing mountains and the warmer coastal camps. Winchester also modernized their classic platforms with their fully enclosed MOA trigger system, which effectively eliminates mechanical creep. Crucially, Winchester retains their iconic three-position wing safety. That safety locks the firing pin directly, rather than just blocking the trigger. This is an essential feature when you are pushing your way through thick, snag-heavy alder brush, giving you absolute certainty that a stray branch will not cause a negligent discharge. So why is Winchester not number one? The brand shares the exact same limitations as Ruger. Their CRF rifles are heavy. The actions require forceful physical exertion to cycle quickly, and despite the aluminum bedding blocks, these factory rifles occasionally require specialized gunsmithing, like custom glass bedding, to consistently achieve the sub-MOA precision that modern hunters expect. Winchester provides the ultimate mechanical life insurance for close-quarters bear defense, but our number one brand delivers weather immunity, sub-MOA precision, and an action that cycles like glass out of the box. Overtaking every other hunting rifle brand in 2026, Tikka officially claims the number one position for almost every hunt in Alaska. Specifically, the Tikka T3x platform, encompassing the light Rovtech, superlight, and Arctic variants, wins this ranking by achieving a paradigm-shifting synthesis of match-grade precision, absolute reliability, and weather immunity. Manufactured in Riihimäki, Finland, alongside the premium Sako brand, Tikka rifles benefit directly from Nordic aerospace metallurgy and cold-weather engineering, designed for sub-zero extremes. The most striking mechanical advantage of the T3x is the smoothness of its action. While it utilizes a two-lug push-feed design, it is machined to such exact tolerances that it operates with the fluid glide of an expensive, custom-built receiver. Compared to the heavy, forceful physical exertion required to cycle the Ruger Hawkeye or the Winchester Model 70 under pressure, the Tikka bolt can be cycled with one finger. That translates to lightning-fast follow-up shots. Furthermore, the T3x boasts one of the fastest lock times in the firearms industry. By minimizing the milliseconds between the trigger break and the firing pin striking the primer, the rifle effectively reduces the impact of shooter flinch or sudden crosswinds on the bullet's point of impact. When it comes to barrel harmonics and precision, Tikka utilizes the exact same cold hammer forged barrel blanks as their premium Sako counterparts. This forging process creates a mirror-like bore finish that minimizes copper fouling and maximizes velocity. Tikka guarantees sub-MOA precision right out of the box. In the field, a model like the T3x Light Rovtech routinely prints half-inch to three-quarter-inch groups. That gives you the surgical precision necessary for a long-range shot on a Dall sheep across a distant valley. An accuracy standard that the heavier CRF rifles often require expensive custom glass bedding to achieve. Alaska destroys rifles in the micro details, like water freezing inside a firing pin channel or salt corroding a sear engagement. The T3x defeats this with a robust metallic bolt shroud, a stainless steel action, and a fiberglass reinforced synthetic stock. That stock features asymmetrical grip patterns that provide perfect tactile adhesion even when your hands are covered in freezing mud or blood. Models like the T3x Arctic even incorporate bomb-proof iron sights as a mechanical failsafe for when your optical scope fogs over in the constant coastal rain. Crucially, the Tikka hits the exact weight sweet spot for an Alaskan Magnum. Sitting between 6.5 and 7.5 pounds bare, it has enough mass to absorb the recoil of a 338 Winchester Magnum, completely avoiding the violent, punishing recoil of the ultralight Christensen Arms and Weatherby titanium platforms. Its strongest honest limitation is its push-feed architecture and the utilitarian feel of its synthetic stock. We ran this ranking through a weight sensitivity challenge, and if a guide's only priority is close-quarters defense against coastal brown bears, where absolute mechanical extraction is the single defining metric, the Winchester Model 70 or Ruger Hawkeye would win. But for the vast majority of hunters who need a rifle that can survive the worst atmospheric punishment on Earth, cycle flawlessly, and deliver surgical accuracy, the Tikka T3x is unmatched. It delivers 95% of the performance of a $3,000 Sako at a price point that allows you to treat it like the consumable survival tool it is meant to be. That is why it is the ultimate Alaskan hunting platform. To summarize this countdown, hunting in the last frontier demands objective realism over marketing hype. You have to prioritize thermodynamic resilience, consistent metallurgy, and proven field ballistics over a glossy finish or a luxury price tag. While the legacy-controlled round feed platforms provide maximum security for close-quarters defense, the Tikka T3x platform bridges the gap between match-grade precision and supreme utilitarian durability. It is a weather-immune, sub-MOA capable platform that survives the absolute worst conditions Alaska can throw at it. Do you agree that modern push-feed actions have caught up to controlled round feed for dangerous game, or do you still demand that massive Mauser claw on your bear rifle? Let me know your stance in the comments below. If this breakdown helped you rethink your Alaskan gear strategy, hit the subscribe button so you do not miss our upcoming deep dives into the optics and ammunition that complete these survival setups. Stay safe out there, shoot straight, and we will see you in the next video.